What's up, Admirals? Losty here, and today the long-awaited Yamato-class Musashi arrives. As you can see from the opening, RNG has royally screwed me over in terms of the gacha rate, but I'm not here to talk about how this cube-chugging floof destroyed my cube reserves. Instead, I want to address how the arrival of this mama floof may or may not change how you run the best-in-slot battleship fleet. If you like Azur content that helps you improve at smashing sirens, do me a favor and give me a like and subscribe. When I do make videos, it is for key moments or turning points in the game that I truly believe are very important to address. To see how Musashi can maybe enhance the best-in-slot battleship fleet, let's first address Musashi's unique skills and put that together with her stats to predict how exactly she will perform in the battleship fleet. Her first skill is a barrage-based skill that triggers with 100% chance on her main gun volley. Barrage is improved if her main gun is Sakura Empire. Barrage has a 50% increased crit rate on top of her normal crit rate, so on average expect about a plus or minus 60% crit rate for this barrage. And this barrage inflicts a special armor break, causing targets to take 5% increased damage for 8 seconds, 10% if the target is heavy armored. So in theory, this is a skill you want to proc often and better early in the battleship barrage chain rather than later, to have more benefit. Next skill is a self-buff, 20% firepower, 5% accuracy. Then, if this ship has Sakura Empire gear equipped, increase reload by 10% and main gun crit damage by 15%. Now, I believe the second part of this skill is active as long as one piece of her equipment is Sakura Empire, which includes aux equipment. Just because the first skill specifically distinguishes main gun Sakura Empire, whereas this just says Sakura Empire gear. And since everyone's going to be running the white shell aux, which is Sakura Empire, it should mean the full skill is always active. If someone has concrete evidence to say that this is not true, I would love to know in the comments below. Third skill, if she is not flagship or you're not in air denial or air incapable, which no one should be playing under air denial or air incapable, her damage taken will be reduced by 30%, which is fine. And then the cross fleet barrage at 15 and 35 seconds, which is actually pretty nice of her to cross fleet barrage twice. Stat-wise, she has a very nice 479 base firepower with 155 main gun efficiency. To put that in perspective, NJ has 453 base and 150 main gun efficiency. However, Musashi's reload is a mere 156 compared to the other standard battleships which have reload well over 170. Which will make her kit very awkward, as I will explain a little bit later. This event comes with the triple 460 AP rainbow gear, which I suppose is the intended main gun for Musashi, as it is Sakura Empire to pair up with her first skill, and at a glance a fairly decent gun with 216 x3 base damage with 55, 140, 135 on the modifiers, which I believe technically makes it in theory the highest potential damage versus medium and heavy armor in theory. But in practice, this will be why I say her kit and the gun associated with her is very awkward. Her reload is already incredibly low, and on top of that, this gun has an incredibly low fire rate, 30 plus whole seconds. Practically, battleship damage comes in intervals based on main gun volley cycles, and the way to maximize that damage is to line up damage increase buffs like Helena and Vanguard to match up with your main gun volley cycles. If Musashi uses this gun, she will be completely off cycle with her main gun volleys, and will practically perform worse. This gun honestly fits way better on someone like UVH, who cuts reload time by 50%, which lets her cycle perfectly with the twin AP guns. But this gun choice is not the only thing that's awkward about Musashi's kit. Suppose Musashi settles with the twin AP gun instead, so she can actually sink her main gun volleys. Because of her kit and her low base reload, that means she is certain to be last in the volley chain among the battleships, which means the damage increase debuff from her barrage is barely utilized. The debuff is applied sometime between her first and second main gun rounds, and by then the other two battleships will have already finished 2, if not all 3 of their rounds, which means practically speaking the damage debuff on her first skill is barely utilized. All this together gives me a very mixed impression of Musashi. She has a debuff to apply, but her slow reload renders that debuff mostly unused. She has a signature main gun, but it practically does not pair well with her when accounting for timings on the field. Her selling point of high firepower could be the clutch to the awkward kit, but only time will tell. Her utilization in the best in slot battleship fleet is probably to pull UVH and make it Vanguard, New Jersey, and Musashi, along with Plymouth and Helena in the front, which frees up UVH for another potential mono Ironblood fleet in Bismarck, FDG, and UVH, along with MDen in the front. I honestly do not think there is much of an increase from the old best in slot New Jersey Vanguard UVH battleship fleet. If there is, it is likely to be very minor. To recap, Musashi has what it takes to contribute to the top battleship fleet, I think, although her somewhat awkward kit makes it unclear if the contribution is actually an improvement. Musashi's kit does not benefit her in any specific fleet, but due to friendly buffs, meowficers, and timings, she's better off in a battleship-specific fleet. IJN Musashi is a welcomed floof that should be worth her weight in cubes, even if it is 400, so I wish everyone the best of luck, and better luck than I had, and I look forward to her outperforming my initial expectations.